What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another very exciting upload here by Adrian Weather Forecast. In this video, we're having a very highly recommended and exciting first preliminary winter forecast of 2020 to 21. This is a very exciting here. This is just extremely exciting that we are talking about winter once again. It's been so long since we've done my winter forecast. It's been over almost just under a year, so we're back about talking about winter. It is extremely exciting, and you guys definitely just crushed the community to post poll. You guys, 78% of you guys wanted this winter forecast here out of 100 plus votes, which is absolutely crazy. So this is extremely highly recommended. I'm very excited about this. Hope you guys are too. This is the first one out of many more. So this won't be the most accurate, but it's just a start to my first winter video. So be sure to smash that like button if you really are excited about winter. Hope you guys really enjoy this. We're going to be looking at the precipitation, the temperatures, and the general forecast. In my next winter forecast, we will be mentioning snowfall, just not on this one. But I hope you guys are really excited. Subscribe if you're new, especially subscribe as the yearly fall and winter week of the first week of August is very soon and nearing, so expect a lot more winter and fall videos here as we continue to get closer to fall, and obviously not to mention also some tropical forecasts. Without further ado, let's go into the very exciting winter forecast. But before we actually do get in this video, I want to give a awesome shout out to a special person here, Direct Weather. So usually I don't do just random shout outs like this, but I just wanted to shout him out really. I've got to talk to him a lot in the past coming days and just even weeks, so just awesome guy really, and obviously he's a huge inspiration, especially for when it comes to winter and fall forecasts. And I was talking to him yesterday and I showed him all my maps and all. He's like, yeah, we really agree. So yeah, we actually really agree on this winter. That's awesome. So be sure to check out his winter forecast. I believe, yeah, it was a week ago, so be sure to check that out, guys. A huge inspiration. I hope you guys do enjoy his forecast. Just hit 100K, absolutely awesome milestone. So yeah, be sure to check him out. He's awesome. He's a huge inspiration. Awesome forecast. Does daily forecast in the morning, I believe so. So this is absolutely crazy. And so yeah, be sure to check him out. His winter forecasts are awesome, and just all that huge inspiration. Many of you guys are probably already subscribed to him or heard of him, but please go check out his videos. But without further ado, let's get into my forecast. So here is now my precipitation forecast here for this winter. Let's go and start off now with the above average. So as you see in the lemon lime green, that is slightly above average. That's going to be from coast to coast, all the way from the Pacific Northwest to portions of the New England. As you can tell, really with winter, usually the United States is split from east to west, but this winter is going to be a little odd. It's going to be now from north to south, which isn't the most really common thing, but we are going to be seeing now a split from north to south now. So that's going to be this whole setup for this winter as of now. So as you see, slightly above average temperature, or slightly above average precipitation, whether it's snowfall or whether it's rain, just any type of precipitation, slightly above average. So you probably won't even notice how it's a lot more wet than usual. But that's going to be a widespread, slightly above average region, so just much of the northern United States in general. Now for the moderately above average, that's the second shade of green. That's going to be seeing moderately above average, so that's when you can be seeing, you're going to start to notice a lot more precipitation at this point, whether it's lake effect snow, whether it's sleet, ice, rain. So really, based on your region, you should know what it's going to be. Whether it's rain or snow, like Seattle and Portland, most likely to be rain. And then the Great Lakes could be both rain and snow. So that's going to be above average temperature, or sorry, above average precipitation, moderately on the level 2 out of 3. That's going to be for much of the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northern Plains, and even portions of the Pacific Northwest. And also now the third shade, I usually have not really had a third shade ever in one of my monthly forecasts or seasonal forecasts, but way above average precipitation. That's going to be very, very dark green. That's going to be including portions of the Rockies and those areas that see those first snowfall as early as September. So we're going to be seeing a ton and a lot more mountain snow than usual. A lot more mountain snow can be seen additional feet than compared to average. Also, as well as rain, we can be seeing a lot more rain, so expect a huge difference compared to averages. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate. It's going to change over time, but as of now, I really see a huge probability and a very a really high likelihood of having way above average precipitation, including mainly the snowfall. But obviously, you can be seeing some rain as well. A lot of rain, especially if we have Sierra Mountain snow. That can bring in a lot of rain here as well. And obviously, all that precipitation can bring in many snowstorms and blizzard for the Midwest. So, there's also that following that pattern change to maybe seeing a huge difference here for the Great Lakes that can bring a lot of potential snowstorms just south of this above average precipitation, bringing in some big snowstorms, especially for the east. Now let's go check out another below average precipitation. As you see, we have a very widespread, again, just the general southern United States will be seeing slightly below average to moderately below average precipitation. It means less snow or less rain depending on where you are, but in general it means less precipitation. So I actually don't mind being in less precipitation. Actually, on average, we see in my area we see more snow below average temperature or below average precipitation. That means less rain. I don't like all that rain. And that just means less rain, which I really appreciate. I hate all that rain, just constant cold, chilly rain. But for the other hand, it's for like California. You guys don't usually see that much rain, so seeing below average will be a really huge potential maybe drought. But slightly below average, slightly below average precipitation. That's gonna be all the way from coast to coast as well, and then that's gonna be seen just slightly below average, so you won't really notice it necessarily. But you're gonna maybe notice it a bit more than above average precipitation, and then below average, moderately below average. That's we're gonna definitely notice the significant less rain, less precipitation. That's going to be including a portion of the southwest. Now it's going to check out one of my favorite maps. Always is the temperatures. Temperatures is always my favorite, really. Or kind of temperatures is kind of always my favorite compared to precipitation. So as you see, this kind of, like I said, it kind of goes like warm and dry. Kind of goes together. You see the warm and dry areas. Those are going to be kind of going straight together, and where we have that most above average, that's going to be seen below average temperatures. Like I said, this winter's going to be split from south to north, which isn't the most common. It's usually west to east. Like, that's what we're seeing my fall for. That's what we're seeing this fall. It's going to be split from east to west. But this will be different as we get closer into the winter. I am expecting a very big range of below average temperatures. But depending obviously where you are, it's going to kind of differ how big of a difference it will be. For example, in the very light blue, we are seeing slightly below average temperatures. That's all the way from the Pacific Northwest to, of course, the Atlantic. For my example, I'm going to be slightly below average temperatures. Maybe expect 3 to 5 degrees in general below average, maybe 1 to 3 as well. So you're not going to be seeing a huge difference in cold in general, but you could very well see some big cold fronts, maybe once every month or twice every month. You're going to be seeing some big cold fronts, just not as frequent as the areas that will be cooler than you. And then moderately below average temperatures in that second shade of blue, kind of that looking kind of navy kind of blue, that's where we see more frequent cold fronts, and also those cold fronts such as the Arctic blast will bring in a cooler compared to average. So if you're in like the light blue, you might see a cold front that brings 10 degrees below average or 12. But in the moderately below average temperatures, that's where maybe those cold fronts can bring in maybe 20 degrees below average, and there's gonna be a lot more frequent cold fronts the more north you get this winter. And you see all the way from Montana to Maine. So we have another widespread region here for moderately below average temperatures, and also for way above average temperatures. That's going to be for portions of the general northern plains, or hashtag Midwest/Northern Plains, whatever you want to call it. That is where we will be seeing way below average temperatures as of what we're looking at right now. We're going to be seeing a huge polar vortex, multiple Arctic blasts. It's going to be a huge wintry mess here for these areas and coming into the fall. Obviously, coming into the winter. Winter starts, I believe, 2021 or December 20th. So don't obviously this means winter, not fall. So expect major cold fronts, especially in January in these areas. So extremely cold temperatures for these areas in North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Iowa, Montana. You guys are going to be seeing a huge polar vortex. It's going to be possibly cold fronts that can bring in 30 degrees below average. That could very well be a outcome here. So extremely cold here. That's going to be the real winter. Obviously this can mean a lot more snowstorms and a lot more lake effect snow, because these areas are also going to be above average precipitation. So the precipitation and temperatures are there. So we can definitely see huge snowstorms for the Great Lakes as well for portions of the Midwest. Now, drum rolls please. This will now be my general winter forecast. So whatever region you are, that's going to be general. So drum rolls, and boom. This is my general winter map here. As you see, these colors, I actually like this map. The colors go very well together. So I see there's a lot of regions compared to last year. I didn't have that many regions or colors, which kind of gave it less diversity or less significance or really less details. But in this one, there's a lot more details. We have like 11 colors, I think. Like we have 1, 2, 3, I don't know, around 11 colors or 10 plus, which is actually good. So let's go and start off with the southeast. I like starting with the southeast and then I go from east to west. So as you see, we in that kind of bluish green color, like that kind of green blue color mixed up in the south, that means some storms. So yes, those areas are in slightly below average precipitation, but we could be seeing some storms all the way from Texas to portions of the Carolina coast. So expect some storms there, maybe some spotty thunderstorms. I wouldn't let that possibly for some severe weather threats for a couple times here throughout the winter here. So very well could see some storms throughout the general winter season for these areas in that region. So north of that, we of course have the winter battle zone. This winter battle zone is very big this year compared to last year. It goes all the way from Oklahoma to Virginia and as far north as portions of Illinois and Indiana. So this is a huge winter battle zone. What winter battle zone means is basically it means snow, ice, rain, sleet. All that is likely. Really, it's not just like snow or snowy. It means there's going to be a lot of frequent sleet, ice, snow, or rain. So you can see any of that really. And it's very big this year because we are going to be seeing big potentials for some snow here in these areas. It's just that, it's going to be kind of warm and cold throughout these areas throughout the winter. There's going to be some cold fronts and warm fronts in these areas, and also just seeing it's not going to be super frequent to see just snow in these areas. Obviously, this is the southeast, and according to also portions of the Mississippi River Basin, but it is just going to be more likely to see. You can't really guarantee snow in these areas really every year, or for some of these areas, but we are going to be seeing just that winter battle zone where we're going to be seeing snow, sleet, ice, or rain in general, or you can see all of those really. So that's exactly where that winter battle zone is. Let's go now and check out that purple there for the northeastern coast of mid-Atlantic. That is nor'easters. And when I mean nor'easters, it's going to be either that huge rain nor'easter, just rain, or nor'easter that brings more of snow than rain. So we're going to see a lot of nor'easters, especially later in the season. And more like March or February. You guys, that's when we're going to be seeing more of those snowy nor'easters in January and December. We'll see more rain nor'easters, and they only bring snow for the mountains of the Appalachians. But definitely see in general a lot of nor'easters in the areas. I know New York City, you guys saw like less than 10 inches of snow last winter. A huge, one of the biggest bust winters ever. But honestly, this year it's different conditions. Last summer had extremely different conditions. Obviously, this is a different year. It's 2020. It's huge. There's a lot more variables here, and the conditions compared to last summer and compared to this summer, it's just completely different. So many nor'easters are likely throughout those areas in the purple, not just to the north or just outside of that nor'easter. We have blizzards. We can very well see blizzards all the way from the Virginia area today, or Virginia area this winter, all the way up into the main area. I could very well see some really big Appalachian snowstorms in the Appalachian Mountain region. I can definitely see a lot of those origin will be like the Midwest, and it makes its way throughout the Ohio Valley, and it just brings in blizzard conditions. I could very well see some blizzards in those areas, if not very big snowstorms. Just to the west of that, we have a area of like a light purple area that is including the Ohio Valley and the Lake Erie area. That means it's going to be a very snowy. So it's going to be very snowy for some of these areas here, compared to average. So that's kind of a sign that that's where we're going to be seeing above average snowfall this year. Also with the above average moisture, and obviously how technically in La Niñas in general bring in a lot more moisture in the Ohio Valley. This is going to bring in a very favorable spot here for snowy conditions. It's an equal chance for neutrals in La Nina this year, so it's kind of on the fence here, but very well could see some big lake effect snow here, adding up to some general big snowstorms. So very snowy for the Ohio Valley and portions of the eastern Great Lakes, including Lake Erie, Huron, I believe so. And basically that's where we're seeing that very snowy conditions. And to the west of that as well, we have Arctic blast in that kind of really a bright red pink. That's where we're seeing those Arctic blasts bringing in some very cold conditions. Single digits are likely in these areas here. Single digits, teens without a doubt are likely. As far as all the way from December to maybe even February, we can see these single digits in teens just varying all over these areas with these major Arctic blasts. Very frequent, as you can tell. So just very frequent Arctic blasts in these areas. That's all I really gotta know. It's gonna be cooler than average as well, and obviously above average precipitation, slightly above average or average. So that can mean some big blizzards that can develop as far as the western plains, including Colorado, New Mexico, and Kansas, and those can move into the Arctic cold air in the south central or the plains, in bringing some big blizzards that can move as far as areas in the Midwest. Those general blizzards that can happen as early as Christmas or as early as Thanksgiving. We have those big snowstorms when we have a lot of snow developing for the Rockies, and they go all the way up to the northeast and bring in blizzards once it gets into the Nebraska area. We saw a lot of that this year, around that year, or around that time of the year, so I can very well see more of those this year, but a bit more to the east. North of that Arctic blast region, we have extreme polar vortex, so it's just going to be brutally cold in general in these areas. Could be seeing as some cold fronts that can bring 35 degrees or below average. It's extremely cold in general for these areas, but I'm guaranteeing a very cold winter for you guys up there. So just get your coats out early this year, get everything out, because you're going to not only see some big blizzards likely or some big snowstorms, you can very well see some frequent single negative digits and all of that, really. And then white, we have lake effect snow here for the Great Lakes there, so Lake Michigan, areas right there near even near off the coast of Duluth. We have also portions out there all the way up into just whole areas, the Hudson River areas. You guys can see a lot of lake effect snow there. So a portion of the scattered areas of Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, and even portions of Minnesota. You guys are going to be seeing some lake effect snow here. So frequent lake effect snow that can last days. This snow just spotting over. That can bring in just what we saw a couple years ago in Erie, Pennsylvania, 5 feet of snow just from lake effect snow. I can very well see something like that this year, because how this cold air is just going to stay here for a while, as well as the moisture as well. So can very well see some significant lake effect snow this year. Now let's move to the west. We have a huge snowy region that's a very nice dark blue, stretching all the way from Montana to portions of northern Texas and portions of the southwestern plains. That's what I'm saying with the Arctic blast. We can see some big snowstorms that can develop as far in any of these areas, whether it's in the Mount Snow region or if it's in the snowy region here. Those storms can really develop throughout these areas. We'll be seeing kind of average to slightly below average precipitation, but could very well see a pattern change at some point that can create a big snowstorm to take advantage of. So snowy conditions for portions of those areas in the dark blue. South of that region, we have dry and warm for portions of the south central. We will be seeing very dry and warm in these areas. Not going to be a fun winter if you don't like that. If you want snow, you want a lot of rain, just not going to be not the year. It's just not the year really for this. It doesn't mean we're not going to get snow. It's just not as likely. Just to the west of that, we have very dry. That's going to be including the dead center southwest. So the southwest is dry enough when it comes to La Nina, basically. And now even just making it even more dry. It's just going to be brutally dry for these areas. Not doesn't mean you're not going to get precipitation, but I'm not guaranteeing a lot of precipitation at all. Very dry compared to normal. Just not gonna be the best winter for you guys. In the orange, we have very warm, so that's going to be, of course, for the general western United States. Like I said, some really warm temperatures for some of these areas as well. Obviously, some of these areas that are on the very warm are under slightly below average temperatures. I see that, but really, it's gonna be really it's gonna be really cold at some point for these areas, but also warm. So yes, portions of Idaho are under that slightly below average temperatures, but then under very warm. It's just really at that point where it's cooler in general in the winter. It's slightly cooler as some in general for the all 4 months. But I can see some very big warm fronts that can bring some very warm conditions, which is why I put you guys into that very warm. I know it seems kind of confusing, but it makes sense, really. And then we have a very big region for more mountain snow. That's going to be just scattered across the Rockies and Sierras. That's where we're going to be seeing some big snowstorms. Most definitely, of course, we have not only slightly cooler temperatures for Montana, Washington, portions of Wyoming, and even northern Idaho. That's where we're seeing extremely above average precipitation. So some big snowstorms are definitely have to form or get created in these areas, and then they move eastward into the snowy region. Then extreme polar vortex, then to Lake of X, and very snowy, then blows into the northeast. It's going to go across many cross-country snowstorms here, and that's why we have the winter battle zone extremely big, because those big snowstorms that move this way, that bring very fluffy and blizzardly conditions, could bring maybe some sleet, to maybe some flurries, to maybe some snow there. And then last but not least, we have very wet for these areas outside the mountain regions. So it's going to be way above average temperatures, to moderately above average temperatures for some of these areas. It's going to be very interesting play out for these areas. Hope you guys did enjoy this winter forecast, though. I'm extremely excited to see how you guys really like this. And obviously, I might have my next one in early August with my winter and fall week. Hope you guys did enjoy, and bye, guys.